Taurus, welcome to your April 2018 love reading. It's Raina here. Happy birthday to those of you born in April. Happy solar return. Shuffling the cards. I am going to also be picking a card from that deck that I just put to the side, which is Wisdom of the Oracle by Colette Baron Reed. So here we go. Making sure to show myself picking the cards because got, once in a while get a stray person who casually mentions it because they want to make sure that I'm picking on camera. Ta-da! And I'm going to pick both of these since they both came out. I spontaneously came up with a new spread while I was doing Aries reading, so I'm going to go with that. It was kind of interesting. That's never happened before that I can remember. And I'm just putting that here. That's the outcome card. And then I'm also picking one of these oracle cards. Number 52. That's kind of interesting because I think I got 51 for Aries, something in the 50s. Okay. So let me just look for a second and see what we have here. The heart of the matter is the Lover's card. Now, heart of the matter can mean like a dilemma, actually. And the Lover's card is connected to a few things. First of all, it's connected to maybe whether or not to get intimate with somebody, whether or not to, this could be physical intimacy, getting involved with somebody on that level. Maybe you've dated somebody and you're not sure that you want to go there yet. It could involve the lovers. I mean, maybe you're having some kind of an affair outside of your primary relationship. The Lover's card is also about choices. So it could be that, again, a dilemma about two relationships, torn between two lovers in some cases. And this is connected to the sign of Gemini. So maybe one of the people is a Gemini. I'm just going to keep going and see what comes up. I will say that sometimes people tell me, oh, isn't this for singles? I can only go with what the interpretation that I feel. So yeah, a lot of times it does seem to involve relationship readings. And I have done readings for singles, and that didn't seem to really be like, corner the market. It seems like many people are embroiled in a relationship. So that seems to be the biggest need right now, is to deal with relationship issues. But I'm not directing it that way. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. What crosses you, the challenge, is represented by the Chariot card. So this could be a Cancer individual who is part of the problem and not part of the solution. This could mean that this Cancer person, or they have a strong Cancer, maybe they are a Gemini with Cancer personal planets. This person may not be good for you, and it can be perhaps that with the Chariot card, it can be that things are out of control in your life, and maybe you are kind of getting in over your head, Taurus, getting involved with somebody in a very reckless way. I just did Aries reading, and I was speaking almost like in similar terms about, you know, in terms of like, I feel there are certain signs that are more, for lack of a better word, lusty than other signs. I would say Aries, Taurus, and Leo are the top three in that area. I wouldn't even put Scorpio on that list. I would say those three signs are the top of the list, top of the pack when it comes to that particular situation. And that's where you can get in trouble. The Chariot card in a reversed position can indicate things spiraling out of control. That you don't have the reins of the, you're not holding on to the reins of the horse. The horse is driving you, your lust is controlling you, and that is creating problems in your life. Now let's look at the root cause of this. The Two of Pentacles is about a juggling act. In some cases, if you took a job that was far away from home, you may be having an affair because of what's that term that means, you know, convenience. It just is a situation of convenience rather than maybe true love or anything like that, where you are situational situation that you happen to be in this situation and that's leading to this particular outcome. But it's not necessarily that you have strong feelings for this other person. And maybe you did not want to have an affair, but you found yourself there. A lot of times people roll their eyes. I'm not one of those people. Although if it happened to me, I might not buy it. It might not be enough for me to go along with it. But I do believe that in certain cases, people are not planning on having an affair, and it comes up because maybe they are lonely. They are, I was going to say horny and lonely. Far away from home, and there happens to be, I think the term I was looking for is crime of opportunity, which is probably not a good way of putting it, but, you know, things happen when people are far away from home. And the Two of Pentacles can also indicate that you just find yourself with two different relationships, and it has created confusion in your life. Maybe there's one person that you're physically attracted to and one person that you feel an emotional bond with, but you can't have both of these people, or you think you can't have both of these people, that neither one will go along with that kind of an arrangement. Or, you know, usually Taurus people are not interested in having two relationships, I don't think. You know, you're very, you tend to be very single-minded, but you still may have found yourself in this conundrum. And then we have another card, which is the Nine of Wands, and this is a card of, you know, this can be like an Aries person, so maybe it's also talking, why did I say Aries? Maybe it is Aries, and that just jumped out of my mouth. But this is fire sign energy. This can be a fire sign energy. So maybe there's an earth and a fire sign that you're choosing from. And the earth signs are obviously Taurus, but also Virgo and Capricorn. The fire signs are Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. The Nine of Wands can indicate this sense of maybe having your guard up about a situation, and perhaps, you know, like a wall up, and perhaps because of it, in certain cases, you know, if you lack trust, you may just feel like you're playing the field is the best thing for you right now. because you don't want to commit to somebody that it feels like you don't know if they're going to really be faithful. So it's almost like the best defense is a good offense in a way. Now, the spiritual advice is represented by the where do I get 4 from? Queen of Cups. And this is a card of supreme psychic ability, okay? And as I record this, I am in Pisces, in the time of Pisces. And so if you're listening in Pisces, that could be a time when you really tune into what your needs are. And if you have a decision to make, the Queen of Cups as advice is talking about connecting with maybe your higher self, spirit guides, things of that nature, that tuning into that area. And in other words, it's a more spiritual influence rather than what do I want in a carnal sense, in a worldly sense? Who do I want? But who is the best for me spiritually? And also, it can indicate an actual person, again, who is a water sign. Now, I mentioned that a Cancer person may not be the best match for you, but actually, water signs like Cancer are compatible with Taurus more than, say, a fire sign. And it could be that these two people here, one is a fire sign, and that is where that kind of lust is taking you, because you have this really strong physical connection, and the Queen of Cups is more of a spiritual connection. And so those kinds of influences tend to be more subtle, where it doesn't just come at you. And if you blink, you can miss it, because you may be so focused on this passionate love affair. The Lover's card may be going along with that. But the Queen of Cups is more of an internal energy and a psychic energy, and talking about finer things, refinement. What may be coming in is the Knight of Pentacles. This is actually your card, but I connect it with Capricorn, so that's another possibility. I was thinking here too, if we forget about water signs, that an earth sign individual, again, it may not be this amazing fireworks that a fire sign person can provide, but it's a steadiness. And actually, as a Taurus person, you may, you really value predictability and reliability in other people. And this kind of Knight of Pentacles is that kind of person. It actually is your sign. But if that is embodied in another person, it could be an earth sign like you, or they have a lot of earth in them. And that fire sign person, they may be very flashy, but it could be a flash in the pan, where you are dealing with somebody who is very sexy, and even maybe like there's an element of danger in terms of, I don't mean like actual physical danger, but that sense of you don't know if they're even going to call you or if they're going to show up, where they are unpredictable. That may feel like a sense of, wow, I want to be with this person, versus when somebody is predictable or dependable is a better way, they get taken for granted a lot of the times, it seems like. And that's unfortunate, because these usually are the best catches, you know. The outcome of this is the Queen of Wands. So you could say that if this is a facet of you, that you really take charge of your life. This is about being out of control of your life. But the Queen, you see we had two queens in this reading. So the Queen is always going to represent the yin or feminine principle. But but unlike the Queen of Cups, which is a double feminine energy, this is a combination of feminine and masculine. So you have the intuitive qualities of the Queen coupled with the, what would we call it, the assertive qualities of the masculine principle, which is like being self-confident and being capable of strength in that outward way or manifestation. So it can be somebody who is saying to themselves, I know what's best for me, and I'm going to confidently go after what I want. Whereas you may, with the Lover's card, feel that sense of pull or indecision between two people or situations. So you end the reading with a sense of self-empowerment and the ability to do what you need to do. So I like this reading for you. And it may be that you end up with the person who is a fire sign. All of these things, when I say it, it's really just to kind of give the flavor of the person. It's hard to explain if you're not really, if you don't really know much about astrology, that your sun sign isn't all of your chart. So a person can have a sun sign like you, let's say you're a sun in Taurus, but you may have, in particular, a lot of Aries energy, because Aries is the sign right next to Taurus. So the personal planets like Mercury, Venus, and Mars can be in Aries, the personal points I should say, because even the moon can be in Aries, or the rising sign. And that can make you a lot more fiery and impatient, whereas Taurus is usually patient. So that's what I mean. So that can change how a person sees the world and acts. And the same goes for the other person that you're involved with. So that's why I kind of tune into this. This is more of a practical person. This is more of as a fiery kind of an individual. Now you may choose that because of your own nature. Now I'm going to talk about this card Mending, which was in the Wisdom of the Oracle deck. And it's a beautiful picture, isn't it? It looks so celestial. I'll see what it means, because I don't use these cards all the time, so I don't automatically remember what each card represents. Oh, interesting. The essential meaning is forgiveness, making amends, healing after arguments. And this is the Oracle's message. Each time we are hurt and allow the hurt to pass through us without understanding and integration, we accumulate an unwanted burden. This keeps us chained to the very things we need to heal. The pain, the memories, the echoes of resentments, and the arguments that we rehearse over and over. Now is the time for mending rifts, healing wounds, and letting go of the old hurts in order to reclaim your power. Now is the time to forgive, to release, to make peace, and to make amends to others. Set yourself free. The relationship message is, you've come to a place where forgiveness is necessary if you're to move forward. Separate or together, you and the other person are still experiencing the effects of a hurt that is impacting everything you do, even if you're not aware of it. The energy needs to clear. What must you do to bridge this gap? Closing your heart is not the answer. You have the power to heal this wound. Ask yourself, what would love do? Only good can come of forgiveness and an honest redress. Okay. Yeah, you know, sometimes one of the things I like about picking oracle cards sometimes is that it makes me rethink some of my tarot interpretations. So with the Lover's card, perhaps you are in the position of being chosen over. Maybe somebody betrayed you. Maybe a Cancer individual betrayed you. Or somebody with a strong Cancer. And they're deciding whether or not to stay in a marriage or a relationship, and you are kind of finding yourself in that situation. And maybe perhaps you know, the two of Pentacles can be a card of being extremely busy. And with the Nine of Wands, maybe you use work as a defense mechanism, Taurus, and that led your partner to feel neglected and shut out, and they had an affair. So I'm going to put that as a possibility as well. And you may need to forgive them. Maybe you're deciding whether or not to take them back. Taurus is a sign that struggles with forgiveness because it is a fixed sign, and so fixed signs tend towards stubbornness in general. And one facet of stubbornness is the refusal to, you know, see another person's point of view. And once you have that reaction towards what they do, then kind of being stuck in that place. So you got to, you know, wrap your brain around it and make peace with it, because it is what it is. And a lot of times, that's why I say people do things sometimes because they feel vulnerable, they feel lonely, they feel misunderstood, and it's not always just because the other person is so much more desirable than you. Because let's face it, a lot of times we end up feeling bad about ourselves if somebody is choosing somebody else over us. And I shouldn't say that, because I guess I've been fortunate not to have experienced that. Well, you know, that's not entirely true, but I'm the kind of person that I guess I don't have any place to talk, because I'm one of those people, I wouldn't even entertain that. If somebody else decided that they wanted to go with somebody else, fine, you know, see you later. And I mean that without malice. But I wouldn't be like hung up on that person anymore, because to me, it's like either you're into me or you're not. There's not much wriggle room there, or wig. Is I always saying wiggle room? Wriggle or wiggle. And, you know, I don't know if that's having too big of an ego, or just simply wanting to have somebody who, you know, valuing loyalty and wanting that in my life. And that's just how I feel about it. So if you find yourself in a situation where somebody else is trying to decide whether or not to stay with you, you might want to kind of take charge, and maybe that's what this Queen of Wands is. You taking charge and having the self-esteem to say, you know what, I just made your decision for you, because I'm out of here. So, okay, Taurus, as you can probably hear, there's a train going by. So anyway, I hope that you've enjoyed this, and if you'd like a private reading, please click on the link below. Take care. Bye.